Hey everyone, it's Desiree and welcome. We are going to create a trifold for a wedding card, and we're just going to use one die set from Scrappy Tales Crafts. This here is called the Wedding Trifold add-on, and you can see that center panel has the wings, and then we're going to have our panels that are going to come across. So let's dive in. I've already taken care of the die cutting. So this piece actually comes with many facets, meaning many pieces. So you don't have to do a trifold. You could do a 5x7 card. You could cut it down and do a standard A2 size card. Which is 4¼ by 5½. So this die set is very versatile. What I liked was you get this backer center panel, and then you have the wing. I would call them wings when it comes out. Then you can apply panels to, and you can make them double-sided. So it's almost like you're creating a mini trifold scrapbook album, which I think is great. I took the center die. I forget what that's called, that shape, but it's an oval with the corners cut off. We're going to call it that. And I created like a tag. And usually when I make tags, I double layer them. I scored the top like you saw so that when this is glued, it's just glued on the top portion so that it can open. And this is going to be the piece that sits on the back. I love using metal. Whether it's in a card, whether it's in a journal or a scrapbook album. So we've added an eyelet to the top of that very large tag. Now it's time to put our panels together. And I've chosen, as you can see, pink and gray and white as my color theme going on here. And with this die, you have the outline that creates the solid piece. And then it also has the detailed work. So you have the center panel that you can then put into the outline die to cut out this panel. Now, you can certainly just cut these panels this way. You could put a piece of vellum in between, and you can mirror it. You just want to make sure that you put something smooth on the base of your die cutting machine platform so that you don't get those rough edges, the imprints from your dies and so forth off of that base plate if you want. I wanted to have that solid look, so I'm using that solid panel by itself to create that, to give strength. Also, within the doors that are going to be coming in. Once I have all of these laid out, you can see I have 2 for the gray and 2 for the pink. So on the outside of the card, when you see the front, you'll see that that's pink, and then when we open it, you're going to see the gray. So you can have a lot of fun when it comes to the colors. You don't have to use solid cardstock. You can certainly use a white cardstock and ink blend on it and then die cut it. That would be really pretty. So for the centerpiece, we have these wings. I call them wings. And we want to make sure that we're folding on the score lines. And I'm not cutting any away. I'm keeping them on there because I chose that die cut panel. I don't have to cut any away. So I've got those all scored. I'm going to layer up that oval with the corners cut out. And that's what we're going to go with. It's what I can't think of it. I want to say octagon? Elongated octagon? Is that what it is? Yeah, because octagon's 8. Yes. So, okay, elongated octagon. So I have a couple of the white cut out, used up my scraps on that, and then I have a gray panel up on top. This die comes with this beautiful frame. And I've double layered that. I did that in the beginning, like you saw. And we're going to set this down right in the center. and then we'll set our gray elongated octagon. Although I do like the oval with the corners cut out. It's a little quicker to say. We're going to glue that right down in the center. So we can add lots of dimension because we have those wings coming up. It's going to allow us to have a lot of room. I mean, close to and just over probably a ½ inch. To these wings, I'm going to add some double-sided tape because I want to make sure that I have a secure bond, and I'm going to do that on both sides because we're going to put these panels on both sides of these wings. So we'll have the decoration on both sides. So if somebody looks at it when they first get it, you'll have the designs on the outside, and then when they open it and set it up on their desk, you'll still have a design panel there as well. Excuse me. So we're going to line that up at the bottom, and we're going to make sure that we have those panels right up to the score line. You don't want to cover your score line with something like this. It won't sit well, and it may not fold the way that you would want this to fold. So you can see I'm just checking that to make sure when these come in, they're set evenly. Now we're going to get the other color set, and that would be the pink. So you can see the gray is sitting on the inside and the pink is sitting on the outside. What's great with these wings that this card panel can sit either way. They can either set it up on their desk this way, or they can flip it around and set it up the other way. So there's choices when it comes to this. In the die set, there's an oval set and there's a circle set, and there's 2 dies to each. There's also a label that is, it looks like a ticket, and there's a large and there's a small with that as well. So on some, I chose piece of vellum, or I chose a piece of textured cardstock, chose a white background. Whatever it is, you've got those options to create those layers. And again, we have room on the inside. So you guys know me. If you've been here, I love dimension. Dimension is an awesome thing. And what's also great, the last dies are these couple sentiments that says Happy Wedding Day, and then best wishes to the new Mr. and Mrs. It's also got greenery, which that's awesome too, because we can add gems to those. If you have other die sets from Sabrina and Scrappy Tales Crafts, you know, if you've got florals in there, you could use those. She does a lot of very intricate, small dies, so you can get wonderful images from them. I'm adding another layer underneath the circle, and I'm doing a double layer as well when it comes to the oval. Now the oval is going to be on the outside. It's going to become the closure, and we're going to use some magnets. Whenever I create an album or even a card and I'm using a magnet, I always do like to make sure I'll put, if I'm mailing it, you know, shipping it out, I'll put a little note in there that says, hey, this has a magnet, just to let the recipient know. It's just something that I do. So this is going to straddle across the 2 panels. So now I want to make sure that they're set. So I'm going to try to put something in there that's going to fill this space so that these panels will lay flat on top and not shift around too much. So I found one of my foam pads. We're going to get that set. And before I put the other panel on, I want to make sure the placement where I'm going to put my magnet. Now, Sabrina, I believe she still has these available. These are very thin, very strong magnets. So be careful. They can pinch your fingers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use double-sided tape for these. And I'm going to layer them with the double-sided tape in between. And you saw how that magnet moved away. So you want to make sure that you flip it over so that we can get these magnets to stay in place. And now that they're layered all I have to do is push down my other item to pick up the other magnet. And I know just where that is going to sit. Now, there's a lot of layers of cardstock here. This magnet is going through 2 layers of heavyweight cardstock. I did not use a lightweight. I used a 110 pound because I really wanted this to have structure to that. So these magnets are going through it. They are going through it and they are holding. It's just not as strong. So you're not going to hear a snap, but it's just enough to keep that closed. This will also stand when we get to a certain point. You'll see this actually does stand up with it closed because of all of the dimension. I'm going to add some more metal because I just can't resist. So we're going to add a couple of large brads on either side just to give it that label look. And then because we have those brads there, I do like to put double-sided tape on top of those pins. So one, they don't move, they won't cut through the cardstock if they should keep turning. So basically just to keep them in place so that they don't shift around. I am going to add another layer of cardstock, and again, to hide the brad pins and the magnet. And you can see she's holding on. Now, I'm going to put glue on half of this oval, and I'm going to carefully just set that down so that the magnets connect, and then I'll push down where the glue is to get that secured. I want to make sure that the magnets are attaching and in the right spot. And you can see when I close that, it snaps together. We're going to do the same thing with the circle. We're going to punch a hole in that, and we'll take forever to get the eyelet in because it's just what happens when I film. Once we finally get that on there, we're going to use our crocodile again and just push that down. This is going to be propped up, and we are going to add some embellishments to this. We're going to add some twine because there's nothing like a little poof coming off of a tag. And if I have a tag shape, or if I've taken a shape and punched a hole through it, it's got to have that. It's got to have a little poof. So I just keep wrapping up the twine against itself, push it through, and then overlap it. And then I have a double layer here of a silver organza to match the gray. You can choose any color that you want. And we're going to attempt to tie a bow because bows and me just don't go well together. We really don't. And because I did a double layer of the organza, we're going to separate those bows out just to make it fluffier. So fluffier and poofs, they are key with anything that has a hole in the image, whether I add an eyelet or not. I just think it looks nice. Because we have all of that sitting there on the top, I'm going to add some double-sided foam squares, and that's going to add even more dimension to the inside. I'm going to add a little bit of glue behind the bow and onto the double-sided foam squares just to make sure that stays secured. Now, if you put those more strategically, but it still does work, you could have made that like a tuck, where you could slide in your gift card, or if you're giving a check, or if your gift is cash, you could actually have that be used as your gift giving along with the card. So here we go again with another poof. Once we get everything through and crossed over, now we just pull on all the ends just to fluff her up, give her new life. And this is going to get glued on the back. So you can see it adds, with the double layer, you can open that up and write your message in there. Sometimes messages want to be private. So this way, the message is underneath, but you still have this embellishment, this large tag underneath. I chose to add double-sided squares up on the top so that it'll have a lift because of the tassel that we have coming off the top. It'll give that tassel room, and I put glue on that as well so that that will stay secured. On the back of this, we're going to add that rectangle label. And again, we're coming in with some metals. I have mini brads that we're going to put in each corner. And here, what you could do is, I left this blank, I left it alone. You could actually handwrite, or if you've got small number dies, I know Sabrina has them in a couple of her collections, you could put the year. So the year of the wedding that is being celebrated. Again, I'm coming in with the double-sided tape. We're going to add some glue. Even though I'm using double-sided tape, I always do come in with liquid glue as long as I remember. It just makes it more secured, and it gives me some time for wiggle room with the double-sided tape. I'm going to be using a lot of the greenery coming out from each side. So again, it's just to embellish this. You can add something else on top of this label if you want. You could, when you got the invitation where it says all the information of the Mr. and the Mrs., you could actually die cut that out and place that above this. So this could become a keepsake if you want for your recipient and their special day. One of the dies here is a straight across swag, which was perfect for either the bottom of a label or the top. And you'll see me use that on the inside along the top as well. I thought it was perfect to fill that in. You could also use the space here to write a message if you want. And now we're going to come in with more greenery coming off of this round tag. And we will be embellishing this with lots of gems. Scrappy Tales Crafts. Wow, that was a tongue twister for me. Has lots of embellishment packs of gems and pearls and clay items that are just perfect. And there was one pack that I used that had the perfect colors. Had iridescent gems, iridescent pearls, and even the white clay hearts that you'll see me use as embellishments on the corners. And also where I put that straight across swag, and here it is. I will link down to where all of her embellishments are. It will be difficult to choose your favorite. She's got so many colors, and you get a lot. So I'm using these white hearts, like I said, in the corners and then in the center of that straight swag, just to add a little touch of something there. And now we're just going to have fun placing them all throughout the greenery. Just choosing which ones I want to go with. Both gems and pearls. I love doing that mix. We will continue with the gems and the pearls on the front as well. And you can certainly add more to the inside also. Because again, we do have that room with the wings. You can see it's about a 1/2 inch that we could have fun filling that in. Here I've closed this up, and now we're just going to have fun adding even more gems onto the panels also. If you want your two panels to be different, you could take one and turn it 180 degrees so that they don't look the same. I kind of liked the way that it looked because that oval broke up the design. So it does make that look different. As we continue, as I did this, or at the end here, I'm actually going to come back. It's not going to be voiceover, where I actually walk you through and talk about this piece. Some more thoughts, some more ideas on how you can put it together. But this is just one die, and you could have a lot of fun creating all kinds of different folios and maybe adding some pockets, turning these gates into pockets to add photos and all kinds of memories. So your recipient can actually have fun with this as well, depending upon how you create these spaces for them. So I had a lot of fun. As always, I hope you enjoyed this. So let's talk about it now. Well, that is how we put this together. I figured I would come back at the end to walk you through exactly what we did. I mean, you saw it step by step, but it was sped up. So we used the wedding trifold, all right, and we created 2 panels in the front, and we created this badge here that went across to hold it together, and it is magnetized. Now, it is going through a lot of layers of cardstock. It's going through these top 2, and it's going through another one that's under this. But these magnets are strong, and we don't need a huge, look, it even stands up. We don't need a huge strength there. It doesn't have to snap in place. That's what I'm looking for it to do, to just hold that in place. Now, with a card like this, I do put a little note that says this does have a magnet. It's just something that I do just to make sure. I did not cut off the sides like you see. I wanted that to be full because when we open this, of course, we did all the jewels on the front. When we open this, we've got this 3D effect. And yes, I had to add my metal to it as well. But we've covered the inside panels with gray this time. We have the pink outline. Absolutely love this embellishment pack. I'm not sure what it will call, but I'll have a link to all the section of her embellishments. But it had the clay hearts, added those in each of the corners, added one at the top with this wonderful little flourish, created a sprig to come out from underneath this tag that says best wishes to the new Mr. and Mrs. And then added a little tiny bit of embellishment coming off the top with a little eyelet. We did some loops, and then we tied a bow there as well. Now, this cannot be removed. It is a permanent piece there. But it is something if somebody, let's say they have a gift card, or they're giving them money or a check, something like that. So if I just use this, you can slip something in here and it will hold. All right. So it will stay in place, especially if we come off to the side as well. So you can put something in there and make that a pocket for the gift that you're giving. And then, of course, this just will hold itself together. It's the back part. Now, you can also choose to write your message in here. You don't have to do what I did to the back. But what I did was took that same center piece from the main component. You can write something here or put the year that they're getting married. So like I actually have a wedding, and I am going to add gems to this back here as well, and a heart. And I'm going to write the year of the wedding here. But then I can lift this up and write my message in here as well. So it's just a little bit interactive. Now I could have put a magnet under here and put another magnet underneath this piece so that this would stay closed. But it's really not something that's, you know, in the way. It's coming out a little bit. I love the fact that when this is together, she stands. So this can stand. You can also then, the recipient can swing this out and then have the panels open as well, sitting on their desk also. So it's really versatile. It's a different way to put your trifolds together, to make it like a mini album type thing. You can use the magnets, and as you can see, I don't know if she still has them available, but magnets were in her shop at one point. So they are something great. Just to remember, they are magnets. They are strong. So please do not cause harm to yourself. I hope you enjoyed this project. Again, just taking our dies, leveling them up one more step, adding a little bit of interaction to them, creating scenes, and just having fun with the process. No inks, no nothing, just some gems and some ribbon and twine to add the embellishments. And of course, metal. We gotta have metal. Love my metal. The products that I use will be linked down below, and I'll also provide a link to Sabrina's shop, Scrappy Tales. I hope you go check that out. If you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below as well. Subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you ring the bell so that you're notified when the next video is ready for you. Remember, I go live every Sundays at 9 Eastern. And we also have a community, so I hope you'll join us there, where every month we get a full Gabby, full-length, step-by-step tutorial on some type of topic or project. I hope to see you there. But most of all, remember what is most important. Just enjoy the process. Have fun creating your art, and always be creative every day with whatever you do. Continue to stay safe and healthy. And until the next video, take care.